This is a weird article. I don't know where this thing starts and stops. 5 of 9, 9 of...
The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it's Friday. TGIF.
It's another day from hell.
Another day in the Riv.
Well, we're going to get right to something that was supplied by one of our dedicated and lovely viewers. And I'm going to bring this up. And I want everyone to look at this picture very closely. Can anyone identify who that sleeping city council candidate is?
I think so.
That is Michelle Dion, who fell asleep during the city council meeting this past week. Now, allegedly fell asleep.
Allegedly. She may have just been meditating.
Yes, she may have been meditating and, you know, taking a constitutional, whatever. But the question that's been popping up from people, and especially from the viewer who provided this to us, because this came off of the viewer's cell phone. What is this candidate going to do if elected city council during the budget debates? Because we know those go to 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
If they don't put you to sleep, nothing will.
Yeah, because those budget debates put you to sleep. So, you know, they have, people say, oh, why are you picking on the candidate? I'm not picking on a candidate. This was important enough for a viewer to send to us. And because it was that important, we brought it out to you. And now you have to make your decision when you want to go to the ballot box.
Well, we'll know if she's serious. I think the Herald News is sending out a questionnaire like the mayoral to the city council candidates. I think one is what would be the first resolution that you put in as a councilor. So if
maybe hers will be napped.
If that candidate's resolution is, I want chaise lounges installed in the city council, maybe we'll know that she was actually taking a nap and not meditating. But hey, it is what it is. I know something. You know, everybody has a different reaction to council meetings.
That's right.
She falls asleep. Sometimes I feel like sticking pins in my eyes. They drive me so crazy.
I hear you.
It's like so. But hey, it is what it is. And like you said, somebody thought enough of it to do it. And just like the pictures we got of the building down at the yard. And actually, I went down there the other day, drove by. It still looks exactly the same. Nothing's been done. It's exactly as it was.
Right.
What, a month or so ago, or 2 months ago, time flies, that we aired the pictures of that place. So again, everything stops. It's campaign season.
That's right. And we're not going to do anything unless it's to our benefit.
That's right.
But while we're talking about campaign season, let's go back to the rail trail.
The rail trail. Yes. Let's get that sheet over here.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have copies of the letter on December 12th, 2013, that was sent to Robert Carrigg, manager of Group 1 Management, 275 Martine Street, Suite 110, Fall River. Dear Mr. Carrigg, this correspondence is written in response to your letter dated December 3rd, 2013 regarding a driveway access to Brighton Avenue from Clover Leaf Mills property, hereinafter referred to as property. Collectively, the City of Fall River, the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, and Mass DOT are responsible for the Quequechan Trail project, which involves construction of approximately 1.4 miles of trail along the alignment of the former Watuppa secondary rail line. Funding for design of the trail and purchase of the necessary property interest provided by EEA, with money for construction of the trail coming from both EEA and Mass DOT. The completed trail will be a tremendous asset to the city as a whole and an enhancement to abutting properties as well. The real estate and legal questions surrounding property ownership where railroads are concerned are quite complex. Therefore, EEA provided a grant to the City of Fall River to complete the required legal research, negotiate with property owners, and acquire the necessary property interests. The city has, with EEA's approval, hired outside legal counsel, namely Matthew J. Thomas Esquire, to handle discussions with you and other property owners. The goal has been, with Attorney Thomas's facilitation, to realize equitable agreements with property owners who will be impacted by the construction of the trail. The objective of working with property owners to make arrangements that suit the interests of both parties applies, whenever possible, to project design as well. Thus, Fay, Spofford, and Thorndike, Inc., the City of Fall River, and EEA have evaluated and consulted Mass DOT in regards to 3 different alternatives to providing access you seek. First, prior to our meeting on November 22nd, 2013, we looked at providing access along the right-of-way, ROW, to the property. A memo describing the unfeasibility of this alternative was provided at said meeting. Next, we also evaluated the alternative you suggested at a meeting, which routes the trail outside of the ROA on a boardwalk. A memo from the project engineers addresses this alternative and is attached here too. In sum, it concurs with the points you have raised in recent letters, that timing and cost foreclosure, this is a viable alternative. Finally, over the last week, we have been evaluating the deferred construction approach outlined in your recent correspondence. Having reviewed your proposal, we regret to inform you that we are unable to meet your request for future access to the right-of-way for constructions of a driveway. Foremost, it is simply not required for project purposes, nor it is made necessary by the loss of existing access. Next, signalization of the intersection, approximately $100,000, is cost prohibitive. Even if cost was not a factor, the required design amendments are unlikely to be approved now or in the future. In order for traffic signal to be installed on a publicly accepted roadway, the signal must meet one of 8 federally required signal warrants. It is unlikely that a traffic signal at this location would meet any of these warrants. Further, Mass DOT cannot expend state or federal funds for the purpose of signalizing a private driveway. Finally, a fully signalized intersection, if warrants were met, would require coordination with the traffic lights at the Route 24 interchange ramps and raise other access and design concerns. This in this letter is highlighted. In addition, easements and fee acquisitions for the Quequechan Trail project are being acquired with funding from Commonwealth's 2008 Environmental Bond Bill. Property interests purchased for open space and recreational use from this source must be permanently conserved for that purpose under the terms of Article 97 of the Massachusetts Constitution. This means that future driveway construction would require an Article 97 disposition following EEA's disposition policy, which EEA actively discourages. There are also natural resource impacts to consider, whether permitted now or later. A revised design routing the trail to the north onto private property would require the construction of boardwalk trail in a wetland area and would have other detrimental impacts on wetland resources. Our current design, keeping the trail inside the right-of-way, has far lower wetland impacts than the alternatives proposed by you. Finally, the proposed driveway impacts the intent of the project. Simply put, adding a road crossing, even with a relatively low traffic volume, diminishes the experience of the user. In sum, for the reasons outlined above, we decline to adopt your proposal. Please be advised, however, that we still hope to reach an agreement providing for the voluntary sale of an easement to construct the trail within the railroad right-of-way that also makes water and sewer service available to the Glicksman parcel. There is also the potential for an additional fee or easement purchase that could enhance the trail experience for tenants of Cloverleaf Mills and the public that Attorney Thomas will discuss with you in the near future. The intent of such an acquisition would be to incorporate a seating area and other amenities on the opposite side of the right-of-way across from the Cloverleaf Mills as described. Sincerely, William A. Flanagan, Mayor, Kurt Geithner, Director of Sustainable Development, Master Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs. And for those of you who think that maybe we're faking this, here's the letter.
And let's look at who the letter is from. What Mayor Flanagan.
Correct.
We've had 2 mayors since then. So again, this is another great classic example of how things move, and no matter how long they take, they can screw it up. So they disregard So obviously there was legal, there were, you know, they actually appointed an attorney to handle all the legal requirements. They had this letter, and as usual, they don't.
And
pay
then what did
attention.
Mr. Carrigg do?
Yep.
According to the Office of Campaign and Political Finance, oh no, we're going to stop following money.
Uh-oh.
Since December, Mr. Carrigg has given the Jaysville Career Campaign over $2,000. And prior to December, another $2,000 has been accounted for. So,
well.
Mr. Carrigg received this easement from the mayor and corporate council for the total payoff amount of $4,000.
In spite of the fact that they were aware of this letter.
Exactly.
In spite of. Therein lies the rub. The fact is that they knew what they were doing.
Right.
Was not proper. It wasn't a course of action. But then again, pay to play.
Yeah, and that's what Florida has become. And this is the problem that we have. And, you know, people say, you can't call it a payoff. It was a political contribution. Money buys power. Money buys privilege. Whether that be as a political campaign contribution or he takes the cash and puts it in his pocket, it is the same thing. It is a payoff. And the rumors and the statements that this mayor can be bought and paid for is extremely true when you just look at the numbers.
Well, you can say it's not positive proof, but I want to see if Mr. Carrigg gave any money to the mayor when he was a city councilor. We have to check the OCPF and see that. I doubt it. The problem is, this is one of the problems with government, that people come in, they grease the wheels, and mysteriously they always get preference. So, you know, you can say that's the way it always works, but guess what? It's not supposed to work that way.
No, and you know, the thing is,
it's not supposed to work that way.
This letter talks about easements for power, water, and sewer. Guess what? Cloverleaf Mill needs that because they're a residence. They need water, they need sewerage, they need power. So those easements are going to come whether or not, and they're going to give them because they want that. They want that. So they're going to, what are they going to do? Negotiate out, well, if you want to give us water, we're going to have to get a road. No, that's not how it works. If you want water to rent your property, guess what? We're going to need an easement to put the pipes in.
You should have realized that before you made the property.
That's
right.
That's
the problem. The problem is if you buy something that's stuck behind private property, and then you look for an easement afterwards, and you don't get it, well, guess what? Whose fault is that? That's bad planning. You got to realize when you get something that there are, and obviously he knew that he wasn't going to get it
right
with Flanagan, so he waited. We got a new mayor. We'll give him some money.
He didn't get it from Sutter.
Didn't get it from Sutter. Didn't get it from Flanagan. And even though he knew it, just goes to prove one thing.
Sooner or later, you can buy anyone.
Even though he said the EEA, you know, Energy and Environmental Affairs, the Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs, had told them they actively discourage anything like this. And there's no real necessity except, as you said on the last show, it'd make it easier for their tenants to get in and out. So the hell with what it does to city traffic and other traffic, that now you've got somebody coming in the middle of an extension, but nobody cares. It's like, okay, you know, you
right.
pay the right people, you get the right result.
Well, and you know, the thing is that there's still a question on, did the city have the legal authority to grant this easement?
Yeah, and that's what it says right here.
Well, no, not only that. The property wasn't transferred to the city until June or July of this year. The easement was granted in February, which means, and this, you know, again, this is just my opinion. You know, opinions are like anuses. Everyone has one and they all stink. If that's the case, then the mayor and corporate council filed an illegal document. They could be found guilty of uttering and forgery because they didn't have the authority to sell this easement. And they're the ones that signed off on it.
Well, they were signing off pre-donation. That was a pre-donation sign-off.
You know, and this is the problem that we have. And what is happening here is this mayor is hoping that this will just be forgotten like everything else he's done. All the other mistakes he's made. And
not a mistake when you know that it's not supposed to be done.
I was being nice.
I mean, if we got this letter, I'm sure he has a copy somewhere laying around City Hall, unless his financial team has burnt it, or destroyed it, shredded it. Well, we have it, and it is available for public dissemination.
That's right. Everything we get. And, this is the problem. And this is why the zombies don't like it. Because they will now try to justify that this happened under Flanagan. No, this happened under Correa. Correa's the one who took the $4 grand and gave this guy an easement that maybe he didn't even have yet. So that creates a huge problem. And from what I understand, the Conservation Law Foundation is involved in this. This may become a huge, huge legal action against the city and against Carrigg. I think Carrigg would be held harmless because, hey, he's a business developer. He's just trying to get what he can get.
That's right. Like a liquor license.
Like a liquor license. That's right. You get what you get, and that's it. So it's going to be interesting to see how this works out.
As you said, it's going to be, but it won't be a huge legal bill. After November, this will go away.
Right, because everyone's going to forget it.
Because he's going to say, something, I'm not going to spend $500,000 going to court against, against state agencies and everybody else for this. Sorry, you gave me $4 grand, but you're not going to get your easement. Bye.
Well, no, they've got the easement already. That's the problem. And an easement.
Well, is the easement legal?
That's the question.
That's the issue.
Right.
And the thing is, if somebody a lot of these groups, it was like LNG. It's like, okay, if this thing, as you said, it may end up a battle that they have to fight, even if they don't want to fight it. Because
exactly.
The group that doesn't want it may decide to take it to court on the legality of the easement.
Exactly.
So it's like, again. What does government do best, as Groucho Marx said? If they don't have a problem, they're good at creating it and making it worse.
Exactly.
Thank you, Groucho. You are a political pundit, I can tell you. That's what government does best. Even if we don't have problems, they'll create them for us.
It's always funny. Now remember, we couldn't afford the shot spotter because it's no good. It doesn't work. But the mayor just announced that he approached the company and they're going to give us shot spotter free for a year.
Yeah, but it doesn't work.
Right, but
why would we want something that doesn't work?
Right. The police department deployed a mobile substation this week as part of a stepped-up effort to combat crime, and the Fall River Housing Authority has received a $250,000 grant from the federal government meant to upgrade the agency's security cameras. Those are two of the several announcements made by Mayor Jason Correa during a press conference on Thursday in the community room at the department's Pleasant Street headquarters. We have been putting together a very comprehensive plan on public safety that is sustainable. And I think that's the key word today, sustainable, Correa said. That's his favorite word. That and public-private partnerships. This is not a plan that's built on one-time grants for public safety measures that increase staff, and when the grant runs out, then we're done. Monday was the first day of the department's Special Operations Command vehicle was stationed in a specific location that Correa called hot spots in the city. On Thursday, the mobile command center was stationed at Kennedy Plaza at South Main and Middle Street. It's a physical presence with police officers. It's not here, it's out in the field. The police department has also planned to end the Shot Spotter program and cancel the annual $90,000 contract, claiming the shots fired located had a high rate of false alarms when fireworks are shot off, and replace it with surveillance cameras. We're looking at rates in the 40% range, and that's just what we know was wrong, said Acting Police Chief Albert Dupere. The administration was criticized for that decision, and in particular, Correa's opponent, City Council Vice President Linda Pereira, who calls ShotSpotter another investigative tool. The program will no longer be suspended. Imagine that. He got grief for it, and again, political promises and political backtracking. Correa said because the police chief and the administration had negotiated with ShotSpotter after the company agreed to give the city the service and the hardware at no cost for now. For now.
Remember, what did he say earlier in that paragraph? Okay, this is a sustainable plan. It's not dependent on grants. Well,
or one-time money.
Or one-time money. First, they got a $250,000 grant, which upgraded that system. Okay, but the fact is that that system, after it's upgraded, will need additional upgrades and maintenance. So you're not going to get another grant. So that's baloney. Number one, it's just political. Hey, campaign. Now you got some heat on the shot spotter. You got the shot spotter for nothing. For now, what happens when their bonus year is up? Are we going to say we're going to get rid of shot spotter?
No.
Or are we going to keep it? But that's going to be at no cost, right?
And the mayor says shot spotter will be an ongoing service, another tool in our police department's toolbox for free on an ongoing basis once the issues are fixed to our satisfaction, Correa said. Once the bugs are worked out, the company will assist the city with securing grants to fund the program.
Grants! Wait a minute, grants! That's a contradiction. What did he just say?
I know.
That it said, and safety measures in it, that when grants run out, we're done. Well, what happens if you don't get a grant? What happens when a grant runs? I mean, this whole thing is just a mishmash of political BS. It's like it's like one contradiction after another. But what it is it's a press conference. It's a headline.
Right.
It's an election cycle. So guess what?
Well,
we're not going to depend on grants, but we're going to get grants.
But here's the thing. Now, and you have to listen to this very closely. A month ago, the administration and City Councilor Pamela Liberté-LeBeau dedicated an extra $100,000 to fund the short-term police impact patrols. Dupere said the police department moved 8 police officers and located them where crime statistics indicate high levels of criminal activity. Guess what? That means 8 police officers are moved from their regular duties to special duties. Who's replacing those 8 officers? And they're saying that $100,000 is used for overtime to augment the uniform patrols. So we're not really adding more police officers. We're just shifting again. And we're paying overtime for the shift. So it's actually costing us more money. For $100,000, you could have got another police officer. Are we doing this financially responsibly? I don't know. But since the impact patrols hit the street,
look. You read this and you read the thing and it's just one crock after another. What in this city have we ever seen that's been maintained? Nothing.
Nothing.
Even though every year it says in the ordinances that these things, we see a high school that's deteriorated. Now I'm looking at this. Housing Authority Director Tom Collins, which is a very good name. I think I need like 4 or 5 Tom Collinses after dealing with this stuff, because that's what you need, And it says this is a quote, okay? The past 3 or 4 years, those systems have begun to deteriorate, and the Housing Authority is scrambling to find necessary funds to be able to do the work going forward. Well, guess what? It doesn't deteriorate over 3 or 4 years. That's the culmination of years of deterioration because of lack of maintenance. And now they're going to say, then it says we're going to go on, again a quote, to work with them so the systems to provide the public safety. Well, the problem is that, we never learn in this city. How many times have we said on this show, why don't we now find out who was responsible to maintain this equipment everywhere and censure them for not doing their job? No, but what we do is we ask for $240 million to build a new school. We ask for millions of dollars to rehab another building that the city owned, that by city ordinance is required to be maintained,
right,
that the city council and the mayor of the city of Fall River should have ensured that this job was being done. And when it wasn't being done, and the taxpayers are on the hook again, nothing happens to the people who do nothing, just like nothing happened to the guy who falsified an overtime sheet. He's still working. He's still getting a pay. Matter of fact, I think he got a pay raise.
He probably did.
So, so this is, you want to know why your taxes go up? You want to know why your fees go up? Read this, read it, but read it carefully and think about it. Think about the contradictions. It's sustainable. We're not going to depend on grants. Then in the next paragraph, it's like, well, the shot spot is going to go out and attempt to secure grants. Well, what happens if they don't? What happens if they don't? Welcome to campaign time. Everything is doable.
Until
Everything
it's not.
is flexible. You want an easement, you got it. You don't want an easement, you got it. You want a chimney to the moon, we got plenty of bricks. And we'll build it and we'll have bricks left over. Because those bricks are made of BS. So we got plenty of that around the political game. So this is it. It's campaign season. Nothing is out of the realm of possibility. We can do anything in a campaign season. Whether it gets done or not,
that's another story.
All depends if we can, how much money the taxpayers have got left in their wallets. So, but by no means. Oh, we got two things, huh? We got the protest jerseys, and
we don't have a lot of time, so I'm gonna definitely hit this protest jerseys bit.
Yeah, gee, the 50 immigrants arrested in Massachusetts. We got to hit Monday if we don't hit it today.
All I want to do briefly is touch on the Patriots jersey burning rally. Swansea had that last night. People went out. They only burned a few jerseys, like 5 or 6 jerseys, but all the rest of the jerseys were put in a box to be sent to Puerto Rico to the people who are suffering from the hurricane. But they were making statements. They had veterans there who were saying that they're disrespecting them. And now Bob Kraft all of a sudden has met with the Patriots and they're not, and the team plays, and they're not going to do it. They made their statement. And the thing that gets me is, you know what? I don't care what the president said. You don't disrespect the flag.
You're right. And the thing is that this is what really irritates me, because now they're backtracking.
Right.
Because they're worried about their pocketbooks again. And then they try to really, I mean, it insults your intelligence when they say this wasn't about the flag or the anthem. Really? It wasn't? You take a knee during a flag and the anthem? It's not about, no, it was about something else. Well, you know, like we said in the last show, well, if it's about the president, if it's about Black Lives Matter, if it's about Save the Seals, if it's about Save a Tree, well, put that on your helmet. Come out there and hold your helmet up or something, but not during a national anthem. Run around on a field with it. See if those companies that are paying for advertisements want you running around with Save the Seals on your back or something like that. Fine. Protest all you want. That's an American right. But the symbol of our nation transcends all of this. This is supposed to be a united States, as I said, not a divided state. That's absolute crap. When you disrespect something that people died for, whose caskets are wrapped in when they come back from dying in battle for this nation, you should be, as far as I'm concerned, you should be deported. You should become persona non grata. You should be an expatriate. See you later. Get out of the country. If you can't figure out the difference between being not happy with Donald Trump and disrespecting the American flag, a flag that gave you that right, there's something wrong with your ability to actually look at something. You've definitely got a severe case of convoluted logic when you can't figure out that anthem and that flag represents a lot more than one individual issue that you're upset about. It represents a revolution that took place in the 1700s, where every single person who picked up a rifle could have been hung as a traitor if they lost. And every single war since then to fight for your right to be the nitwit that you want to be.
Thank you, nitwits.
So, you know, that's the thing that really irritates me. You know, and it's just, you know, and then they try to rationalize it wasn't about the anthem. Well, you protested during the anthem and the flag. So stay angry, because this is one thing that always gets me angry.
I'm sure. Hey.
Although that's not difficult. So.
That's right. Hey, have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday. See, we have so much news we can't even get to all of it. Have a great weekend. Stay angry, people.